wish I could do this at a later time, but I wanted to get on this quickly before I forgot about it.
All right, we're going to get started.
This is about the bodies in the Bayou. Um, this is uh, KHOU out of Houston. Let's get into it.
To acknowledge a couple of people that are here. I'm your council member, Letitia Plummer, City of Houston at large, position 4. Council member Shabazz is here. This is her district. Mayor Hannah Dickinson, she's here. I did get a phone call this morning from Representative Yolanda Jones. She is in District 147. She currently had a conflict, so she was not able to attend, but she wanted me to explain to the public that she understands the urgency of this conversation, and she will be in touch and ensure that we get some answers out of this. Tamara Bell, Super Neighborhood 83, McGregor President, she is present with us. Al Lloyd, South McGregor Civic Club President, he is present. Travis McGee, he is the South Park Super Neighborhood President and Sunnyside Civic Leader. He has joined us today as well. We have Minister Tyrone Price, Community Director of City Cathedral Church. We have Charlene Jones, Precinct 136. We're in her district right there, in her precinct currently. And we've got Karen Farber. She's from Buffalo Bayou Partnership. They are here present. If I forgot any of our civic leaders or community leaders, my apology. Ken Rogers.
At Replit, we believe we're
Ah,
unfortunately
come
able to create
on.
software without limits and without knowing how to code.
Rogers is here as well. Okay, that's great. So what you see here today is the community coming together for a conversation that is past overdue. As a council member at large, I'm the entire city. I live in this community, so this is obviously important to me. But as an at-large member, we have 2,500 miles of bayous in this particular city. So this is not just this particular area. This is everywhere, and this is something we need to be aware of. I want to give a couple of points that we've received, information that we've received. According to what HPD has said, there is no proof that there is a serial killer involved in these killings. Now, I'm saying what we know. Okay, I want to be very, very clear. From the information that we have attained from HPD, that is what they're saying. Police in other city officials have confirmed that there is no evidence of the linking of the deaths that we have seen. The rumors on social media have fueled fear. And what I'm here to do today is, number one, talk to community, ensure that I and my council member Shabazz, her district, and our community leaders bring the information to the public in a timely manner so we can eliminate any types of rumors that are traveling around the city currently. In 2025, there have been 15 bodies that have been found in the Houston area bayous, 6 in the last 2 weeks. This year's cases are under active investigation, with many awaiting autopsy reports. Identified cases. At least 2 of the recent victims have been identified, including University of Houston student. I'm going to say her first name, Jade. I do not want to say her last name, but of course it's in the media, but I want to be respectful of herself and her family. Several remain unidentified, and the families need to be notified. And let me explain this, and this is in conversation with the administration HPD. There are goals and deliverables that are going to be reached and met in the next 7 days. The goal of HPD is to identify these bodies urgently, make sure that their families are aware first, and with the family's consent, then we will make sure that you know who they are. Our goal, though, is to know gender, age, background, to ensure that we understand that the communities are aware of what's going on. But HPD and the administration has assured me, and race, yes, I'm sorry, thank you, Tamara, and race, and where they are, who they're coming from. We don't want to automatically assume these are suicides. We don't automatically want to assume that these young people have taken their lives. That is not fair to themselves or their families. So we don't want to give out any information that is not absolutely factual. Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences is working to determine causes of death. As all of you know, autopsies take a while oftentimes, and so far autopsies have not shown any evidence of foul play. Houston has over 2,500 miles of waterways. Drownings and are unfortunate and uncommon. Many victims may be.
Here's the thing I'm going to ask. Is there a serial deleter or no? Concerning Houston, is there a serial deleter or not? That's all we care about right now.
From vulnerable populations, including unhoused. Some of them may have died from natural causes in these waterways. But the current information is this. We don't want assumptions. This community wants to know what is going on, what is being done, and ensuring that the factual information is given to us in a timely manner. Because there's a lot of concern, a lot of young people are feeling unsafe, and we have to give them the support that they need. Bayous may look calm, but they're extremely dangerous. There are strong undercurrents in these bayous. There's hidden debris, there's sharp objects.
Oh, yes, I do. Hello,
Diaz
welcome,
has
welcome.
urged residents to avoid from swimming, fishing, or any recreational activities within the bayous. Residents need to remain cautious. Our young people need to understand that if you're walking around in the bayous past dusk, you are putting yourself at jeopardy. You need to, if you're a jogger, if you're a bike rider, as you know, a lot of our bayous, there's an underpass that you can kind of go under to escape the streets. Do not do that at this time period. Go on the street, cross over safely. When it's dark outside, make sure you're in more than one person. Make sure you have your phone, have something that will allow yourself to protect yourself, like something like mace. Then make sure people know who you are. Share your location. Don't be secretive. Share.
Again, yes or no? Does Houston have a serial delete or deleters? Is there a deleter or is there more than one deleter? Yes or no, ma'am?
Look into your family. It is time to be very cautious and careful during this time while we're getting more additional information. I want to reaffirm that the fears that are from the community are necessary and they're relevant and they're important. I'm urging HPD and administration to make sure that we give the information, demographic information, to us as soon as possible so that we can kind of dismay some of the fears that are there. I want to thank the resident.
Wait a minute, hold on. I did not mean to press that. Let me go back. Come on.
For showing up and committing.
Sorry about that,
making
y'all.
sure that our communities are safe and are healed. I want to also acknowledge the families of the people that we have lost in these spaces, and I want the families to understand that we are going to make sure that we know what's happened to your loved ones if you're unaware of that, and our office is available to you. Councilor Shabazz office is available to you. If anyone sees anything, hears anything, please call 911 and let us know what is going on. At this time, I want to pass the mic over to my Councilor Shabazz for any comments.
Thank you and good morning, and thank you, Council Member and Tamar Bell for assembling the people of the community. I am Council Member Carolyn Evans Shabazz, the Council Member for District D, what I call the District of Destination. Certainly, whenever we have deaths of any kind, it is a concern. I have particularly, this is personal to me. I have a friend a couple of years ago that was found in the bayou down by the police station. So, and there was never a resolution regarding his death. And so certainly this is very important. I live not very far from this area as well. But I want people to just know that we're not making assumptions just based on assumptions. We are getting information from HPD. I certainly got detailed information regarding the death of Jade. There's evidence that shows that there was...
Can y'all tell us whether or not if y'all have a deleter in your city?
There's evidence that she actually walked to the location and actually walked into the bayou. And so we are just really, really concerned because we do have two major institutions here. And we want our students to know that we are here for them. If they're having some type of mental issue that makes them feel that they are lost, because at that age, sometimes you feel that no one is listening and no one is there for you. But you are very important, and we want you to grow into adulthood so that you can be great citizens for this city. But we don't want people to panic. But that does not say that we do not want you to be vigilant. You should always be vigilant. I walk in the evenings in this area, and certainly I have to be mindful of my surroundings. The council member gave wonderful, wonderful things that need to be done. Travel in pairs, which of course I don't, but I walk in my main community. But certainly we have to remain vigilant.
Right.
Of what's going on around us, because we are in a major city.
And in my personal opinion, even if it is your neighborhood, you should walk in pairs.
Things do happen, but we don't want people to panic unnecessarily, but always be mindful of your surroundings. When you get out of the car, look around. I know I tend to get in my car, maybe coming from the grocery store, and decide I want to send a text message. Make sure you lock your car. Someone can jump in the car while you are sitting there doing your text, and they may be armed, and you may not get the opportunity to get out of the car. So we do have to raise the height and heighten our surroundings, our awareness of our surroundings. But again, I thank you. We will stay on top of this. We are engaged with HPD and the Precinct 1 Constable, who has assured me that this most recent death was not foul play. But we don't want anyone to befall a tragedy, regardless if it's at their own hands or at the hands of someone else. So certainly I do thank you, and I thank the community for coming out. And I see Deloitte Parker over here with the Shake Center. And he's already aware of things. And we have our seniors. It's not just young people that can befall criminal activity. And so certainly, I am thankful for all of you, because this is how we get the word out. You know, we can do the social media, we can do the Facebook, we can do all of those things. But we rely on the media to get the word out to people that these things are happening. Now, there were several deaths last year. So they're saying that this is not unusual, but we don't want it to happen at all. And so certainly we're going to do what we can to stop criminal activity, period. And so again, I thank you, Council Member, for allowing me to have a few words.
Thank you. And I want to acknowledge former District B Councilmember Dwight Boykins. He's present as well. And thank you so much for being here too. Tamara Bell.
Good morning. I'm Tamara Bell. I am the chairman of McGregor Super Neighborhood 83. I'm former chairman of the Super Neighborhood Alliance for the whole city from Clear Lake to Kingwood. And I appreciate Letitia helping get this collaboration. I appreciate the presence of all of you all here. Because you see, the community that I'm talking to, they're not happy at all. Because you may not know some things, but there are some things that they feel they should have been told. Because, for example, the young lady at University of Houston, I went to her vigil. I don't think there's a student on that campus that's going to believe what was just said. Over 400 kids attended that vigil. This young lady was an honor student. She was a leader at the school. She was multi-talented, and they were like, she was a friend to everyone. So when people hear this, and then they hear initially this, before the autopsy's even done, there's speculation about the death and all of this, it does not give them any comfort. And then you have a total of 14 people, 6 in the last. I get it. You are still working on the last 6, but there are some things you could tell the community, because the bodies were pulled from the Bayou. They were not burned. You can tell, was it male, what approximate age, what was their race, because people are alarmed. 6, I don't care what happened last year. You had a hurricane last year, so if you found people in the Bayou last year, it wouldn't have surprised people. But 6 on clear days in less than 2 weeks, people are alarmed. People are concerned, and they want answers, okay? Because there are answers you could give without doing any forensics. You can look at them and say, Just like the young lady they found in U of H now, the first thing they said was that it was a woman. So people want to know. I attended University of Houston, and I attended University of Houston downtown. Hell, you can't go to class in U of H downtown without passing the Bayou. You got to park at the bottom and walk over the hill. U of H, you got the Bayou right here. You got bayous all over this city. We call it McGregor, but people know it's Braves. It's Buffalo Bayou. They call it Grease Bayou. Look, this is alarming to people. I don't do social media. None. Zero. All my imaginary friends I left in pre-K. I have none now. This is lit up social media around the country, around the world. This is a concerning event to occur. I mean, it is. So you got to tell us something, because if you don't, people's imagination is going to run whether you get on board or not. You had a press
Exactly.
conference Wednesday with the mayor and the police chief, and then next day, Thursday at 11:30, you find another body. What comfort level are we left with? So I am here to say, tell us more. We want to know. Letitia is right. Young people, I was that way when I was young. They feel they're invincible. They don't even think in their ramifications. With all that's going on, they don't. You do need to be more vigilant. If you see something, say something. Other than that, people, they won't know. But it may not look normal to you and shouldn't look normal to you if you see a car parked right next to the bayou. Why the hell are they over there? So say something if you see something. It takes a village. It takes the whole city. And I don't care where you live by a bayou, whether you know it or not. So I'm asking Houston and the surrounding areas, because I had no idea. They found 4 bodies in Channelview. Did y'all know that? My friend was at the beautician with one of the mothers of a kid. She said they had ate lunch and he left. 28 years old. 20 days later, his body come up and she don't know what happened. And this was months ago. So it is alarming. You cannot keep silence. You need to protect the citizens here instead of worried about the ones that won't come because this is going on. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is Travis McGee. I'm the super neighborhood president for South Park and also the city leader for the Sunnyside area. This has been very alarming to us because we have been lacking the who, what, when, where, and how from our elected officials. It's very alarming to have 15 bodies this year, 24 bodies in 2024, and 26 bodies in 2023.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Sir, I'm going to need you to repeat that again. Repeat that again.
Mark Kerr, a man on a mission. Fire in the world. Will all his
This is lit up social media around. Why the hell are they over there? So say something if you see something. It takes a village. It takes the whole city. And I don't
Sorry,
care
y'all.
where
I
you
have
live. You
rewinded.
live by you, whether you know it or not. So I'm asking Houston and the surrounding areas, because I had no idea. They found 4 bodies in Channelview. Did y'all know that? My friend was at the beautician with one of the mothers of a kid. She said they had ate lunch and he left. 28 years old. 20 days later, his body come up and she don't know what happened. And this was months ago. So it is alarming. You cannot keep silence. You need to protect the citizens here instead of worried about the ones that won't come because this is going on. Thank you.
This is the part I need y'all to listen to.
Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is Travis McGee. I'm the super neighborhood president for South Park and also the city leader for the Sunnyside area. This has been very alarming to us because we have been lacking the who, what, when, where, and how from our elected officials. It's very alarming to have 15 bodies this year, 24 bodies in 2024, and 26 bodies in 2023. That's a total.
Y'all heard that right. In 2023, it was 26 bodies they found in the bayou. 2024, it was 23. And this year so far is 15. Whether y'all like it or not, Houston, y'all got problem with these people coming up unalive in y'all's bayous. Houston, y'all got a problem.
65 bodies total in the last 3 years. So there's a whole lot to be alarmed about. The lack of transparency. We just want the basic things that we learned in elementary. Who, what, when, where, how. So we don't want any assumptions. We want all 65 bodies. We want to know who they were, how they died, and things like that. We want everyone to be dealt with dignity and respect. We don't want to hear they were just homeless. They was in that camping. We don't know who killed.
I need to investigate whether or not if Houston has a gang problem. Let's continue.
Themselves, who drowned, but we want everything to be properly investigated in the city of Houston. So it's very alarming when we hear the word "don't be alarmed." One body is too many. One body is too many. So we want everybody to come together and really find out what's going on here. But we really want transparency here in the city of Houston. In this particular political climate, nothing should be off the table. Thank you.
You've been a staple in our community.
I just want to say that everything that I've heard makes sense. And I support us doing something. But the most important thing is for us to be consistent. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Let's not wait to find a body to deal with self-defense. Don't wait to find a body to deal with changing the condition. We got to move on it. React. We got to be active. What is the word?
Proactive.
You got to help me with it.
I know that's right. Hey, we always have the senior moment.
Yeah, we got to be proactive. Don't wait until you find a body. We know the conditions exist in this community that permit this to happen all the time. That means we have to move on that proactively. The civic groups, the organizations, what you're doing, all of us need to come together and move on it and do it proactively. Don't wait until something happens. It's going to happen tomorrow. So we have to be prepared to deal with the next day. We have to work on that. And I say this on behalf of the Shake Center family. We have family, we have children, we have mothers, we have grandmothers, we have elders that need a shake every week. And they're potential victims if we don't do something about it. So we have to collectively do something about it. And no naming, shaming, and blaming. But let's get on board, all of us on the same ship, okay? In the same direction, okay? We can do it. So I say that, give me this, repeat after me if it makes sense. I am. Because we are. We are. Therefore I am. There's no me without you. And there's no you without me. We all part of a family of interdependence. Yeah, y'all, we need each other. Across the board, okay?
Trying to bring some sunlight in here.
Thank you. Okay. With that being said, let me give a couple more points that I got from the administration HPD. When a body is found, obviously they have to identify the body. They've got to find their next of kin. There has to be a coroner's report, and then a detective is assigned to that particular person, right? There are people. And then that's how the information. What we're asking for is basic demographic information. To be clear, we want to know age, race, where they're from. We don't need a name. Am I missing anything tomorrow? Race, age, what community they're from. Just the basic information.
Where were they found?
Where were they found? We want the basic information. What I understand,
Ma'am, y'all just said there's 65 bodies being dumped around that bayou in the last 3 years. Y'all got a problem.
out of the 7 most recent, if I want to focus on the 7 most recent, HBD is able to identify 6, well, they're going to identify 6 of them. One of them is severely decomposed, And so it's a little bit more challenging. So we may find a little bit later on that particular person, but their goal and task right now is an.
Do y'all have a serial deleter? Yes or no? That's all the people care about.
Identify 6 of them, and we should have that information, incredibly soon. I want to. I'll put up any questions you may have for any question you may have for me. Yes.
Retired police officer Marcella Gidry could probably speak from HPD's perspective right here.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to put anyone. Yeah.
Uh, 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 uh. Tells me you ain't organized a damn thing.
Yeah, I want to be really respectful of your position. I'm glad that you're here. I do want to be respectful. When HPD comes out and does a formal press conference, that is their position, and I want to make sure that I'm not putting any words in anyone's mouths and making sure that we're sticking to it, because that's gonna continue to put out information that may not be supported. So I want to acknowledge that. I want to take questions immediately. Why did you not give out this information? It's just timing. They're just, I'm giving you what they're telling me, okay? I'm not saying that's the right information, I'm just saying what they're giving me. They're just saying they need more time. But they understand. Let me tell you this, though. The fact that everyone is here at this press conference, the urgency is there. They understand that the community is asking and watching a ton of questions. So I'm assuring everyone that we're going to know information very, very soon. So because it's a bayou and it's 2,500 miles of bayou, it's very difficult because it's a current. So I know that at the surface it looks like it's really calm, but I know that when it does it, if you live in the area, you know that small narrow channel that's in the center, there's a very heavy undercurrent there. So even though a body may be dropped in one area.
Can y'all just say that y'all have a crime problem? For the love of God, just say you people have a crime problem.
That may not be specifically where they died. It could have started somewhere else. So in terms of security, I think that may be a bit challenging, but I will ask the question and get a better answer for you. Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to add something
Yes.
to that. We're asking the surrounding communities, if you have camera footage, could you make sure that you check your cameras? Because of it being
Yes,
2,500
absolutely.
miles, we can't feasibly put cameras all over the bayou. But
Why the
there are
hell
people
not?
who have picked up certain things in their cameras at home. So if you don't check it on a regular basis because you're not having a personal issue, we're asking that you do check, especially when you hear that these things have happened. Because you may be that piece of information that is needed to be able to let people know if there is something to be alarmed about or whether they can rest easy.
Right. Because keep in mind, every single person that has been found will get assigned to a detective, and there will be a specific investigation happening. So questions, knowing who they are, where they're from, who their families are, who their friends are, what they've been up to in the last couple of days, like all those normal investigative activities are happening to all of them, and that's ongoing. Yeah, absolutely.
To back up what she said, as they said, it's 14 bodies. They found 6. The other bodies they found back in April. I just don't believe those other 8 people are unidentified.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
That part could have been released.
And like I said, y'all
we're
still got a
asking,
problem
it doesn't
though.
take an autopsy to do most of the things we're asking, and that's sex, approximate age, and race.
Right.
That's a visual.
Right. No, absolutely, and that's something that I know my office and Councilmember Shabazz office are diligently working on to making sure we get that basic demographic information. No, absolutely. It's a great question. I've actually reached out to University of Houston and Texas Southern. We're engaging the young people. My goal is to, myself and Councilmember Shabazz, we're going to go and have meetings just like this at the schools, and we're letting the students arrange those for us. We also have some police officers that do a lot of community outreach, and they're also willing to go in and talk about safety and how they can be more safer and watch their surroundings, and just some tips to ensure that they're safe. protected.
One other thing, we do
Oh,
have.
Constable Smokey Phillips is actually here too. Thank you, Constable, for being here. I appreciate you. Yes.
Remember this?
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot more of this. And some of that over there. The Kelly Clarkson Show, all new this fall.
Reba here. Back to tell you about Realtor.com. With over 500,000 new listings monthly, you can find your dream home today.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. We do have several law enforcement agencies in this area, including Texas Southern and University of Houston, Houston Community College, and certainly Constable Smokey Phillips at his office. So we're asking that they all step up the patrols. As Deloitte says, we want to be proactive. We don't want to be reactive. So we're going to engage them as well, not just the students. We need the students to certainly.
Translation: they're gonna downplay everything that's going on. That's what they're gonna do. They ain't gonna solve nothing. Only thing they're gonna do is downplay everything.
Know how they should operate safely. They're in college now, and some of them are spreading their wings. But we need them to know, even though we want you to enjoy this experience, you must be vigilant about your own safety.
Absolutely.
What do you say to the people in the community who are saying the city doesn't want a stain on it right now? You know what's coming? What do you say to those?
Well, I will say that you have council members like myself and Councilor Shabazz, and that's just not going to fly. No, we need to understand, we don't care what events are coming to the city of Houston. Our responsibility is taking care of the citizens in the city of Houston. I'm an at-large member. That means I'm in charge of everybody. And I know that with my charges, and that's not acceptable. And I want people to know you got people on that horseshoe that care. You got community that are supporting us and making sure that we get the answers for you. And so I want to let you know that's not going to happen.
You're not giving them any answers. You're not. Man, you know what? Get off my screen. Get off my screen. I'm sorry, but that was getting irritating. They sitting there trying to downplay the stuff. They don't even know what's going on to even attempt to downplay anything. No, I wasn't talking to y'all in the chat about get off my screen. I was talking about why I was looking at get off my screen. The city of Houston has a problem that unfortunately they're not willing to address. Only thing I can say to the city of Houston, to the people in Houston, keep your head on a swivel, because apparently the police force really ain't doing their daggone job. I'm just gonna call it for what it is. Keep your head on a swivel and walk in pairs. And to the second thing I'm going to talk about is give y'all an update on David and Celeste, and we are going to go to that surprise witness. And okay, this is that surprise witness, and we're going to go into the update of David and Celeste. With that being said, let's get it.
Oh my God. Okay.
so I have to go live like
And
3 times
again,
today,
this
I
is
swear.
that surprise
I
witness.
have so much to catch y'all up on. I'm already behind because last night I was trying to do a like an update type of thing, like a reaction type of thing to a point and shoot situation going on with no jumper and all of that. Thank you. The hair, I know y'all like the hair. It was giving not good hair day today, so I threw it up, and who knows how long it'll stay like that. But yeah, I was kind of going for like I was born in the '90s, moment. Anyway, okay, so I have to go live 3 times today. What time is it? 10:21 a.m. right now. We'll see if it actually happens. I'm going to do this one now. There's also a live. I need to do a live later about Diddy because the sentencing hearing is tomorrow. And if I don't do the live today, then I may not even be able to get to it. That's the one that I may push till tomorrow, though. I know some of y'all follow like every single video I do, so I'm just letting y'all know like what to expect today, Thursday, October 2nd. Tomorrow is the sentencing hearing. Oh my god, y'all are so funny. What? This isn't like, honestly, it's kind of a rat nest. It has 2 bobby pins and a clip, but I'm glad y'all like it. Millennials, we are still in a chokehold for a little messy updo moment, I think. Thank you. Anyway, okay, so listen, we gotta talk about David. I kind of pushed it off, for a couple days because again, I mean, we needed to talk about Diddy, we needed to talk about a couple other things. I still want to do that reaction to the point and shoot situation. So that'll be coming today, the reaction to the point and shoot thing. Last night I was going to do it, but it was like taking forever. I had downloaded the video that he put out and I wanted to make some edits to it because like this guy, this deranged lunatic, from what I understand, he will copyright strike any and everything. So I was trying to like remove his face. It was taking too long to export. It was like 9 something at night. I had woken up yesterday like 4:30 in the morning. So I was just like, you know what, it's just gonna have to happen at a later time. So that's gonna be happening today. This live right now is gonna be happening today, and then maybe the one that I'm on the fence about, will be the Diddy one. Now, Diddy has filed some stuff in his case. He's got people writing letters for him. I think he just needs to take his lick. He's still got people writing letters to let him just walk free. I consider giving him on probation. And then the prosecutors on the other side are like, no, we need 11 and a half years or whatever. So anyway, I'll be making a video about that. Hello from France. Bonjour. Bonjour. To the France cousins in chat. Seba. I don't know if that's Cajun French. That's the thing. I learned French. I learned a little Cajun French. I don't really know which one's which. More Cajun French. I know more Cajun French than regular, real French. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the David updates. Now, these updates will be new for me, for my channel. I've known about some of these for a few days. Excuse me. Some of these are brand new as of breaking, this morning. Some are breaking just last night around, 10:30. So I'm gonna be going.
Is hot sleep keeping you awake? At Mattress Firm, our sleep experts can match you with a perfect cooling mattress, like the Tempur-Breeze, which feels up to 10 degrees cooler. And right now, get next day delivery on Tempur-Pedic. Mattress Firm, we make sleep easy.
New to me, okay, and somewhat of an order, not really actually, because it's just on a note. But I thought, before we get into the David, breaking updates, I just want to kind of, gather our thoughts real quick and, why is any of this stuff important anyway? As you know, I spend a lot of time on the Reddit. Not a lot of time, but, when I'm getting ready for these videos in the mornings, I will go and peruse the Reddit. So, there's a lot of posts in the David Reddit and the David affiliated Reddits. The first David Reddit got shut down or locked down. But, there's a lot of posts, a substantial amount of posts of people that will pop up and they'll say, I'm just going to wait to hear from the real authorities. All this speculating every day is just too much. And, everybody acts like they were there. And so it's like, first of all, shut up and get out of the Reddit, dude. Go outside then. Fuck you. I mean, excuse me. It's too early.
Damn. Damn. Okay. That's how you feel?
Then get offline. Get offline. Get off the speculation Reddit then. That's the first thing. If you
extent
Translation:
that
go
those
touch
people are good,
grass.
then, you know, maybe they just don't get it. Maybe they just don't understand what it is that is actually important. So I do have some little notes written out here, and I want to just remind y'all not only what the public is looking for, but in some respects, more importantly, what any traditional investigator will be looking for in an investigation such as this. Okay, so when you're looking at a homicide investigation, one thing that you definitely have to figure out is, was there a homicide? So you want to start off with the cause and the manner of death, okay? How did this person die, and what were the circumstances? What is the medical reason? The cause of death is, what is the medical reason that someone died? I'm looking at my notes here. The medical reason, right? So, pew-pew wound, it's toxic poisoning, blunt force trauma, you know, this is the cause of death. But then, of course, the cops, the investigators, the detectives, they would also be looking for the manner of death, and the manner of death would be that where you would see, like, it was natural causes, accidental, sui, hami, undetermined. Right now, in the Celeste Rivas case, the cause of death is deferred. So the coroner hasn't put it together yet, hasn't put it out publicly, at least as of the time of the recording or the live of this video. Now, we're not just looking for the cause and the manner of death. Of course, you know, whenever things are being investigated as a, you know, foul play type of situation, like when a 14-year-old turns up in somebody's trunk dead, then they start looking at other stuff too, like who did it? Who did, you know, first of all, like I said, cause and manner. So let's say they get past the homicide point. Fine, moving on. Who did it? Maybe they have a list of suspects. Where does the list of suspects come from? What is the cop going to be? What is the detective? What are the detectives going to be looking at in a traditional, ordinary investigation? They're going to be looking at the suspects, the persons of interest, and then they're immediately going to start looking at means. Okay, well, the means of doing it. If it was a pew-pew shot to the head, then did that person ever fire a pew-pew shot? Does he have a pew-pew? Did he have the means to have a pew-pew? How did the pew-pew come into play? I'm just saying pew-pew because, like, we're talking about, like, a traditional hypothetical murder investigation. Not only did you have the means, you also had to have the motive and the opportunity to do so. So, what's a motive, right? A motive is it's hard to define a word without using the word, right? Like, what's a motive? It's a motive. A motive is like a personal reason for wanting to do something or for having done it. So a motive would be jealousy. Sometimes that is a motive. Sometimes a motive can be like a competition. Sometimes a motive can be like a business deal went sour. They're mad, you know. So somebody, you know, who did it? Remember the game of Clue? You got to figure out who did it, where they did it, how they did it. Was it with a knife? Was it with a rope? Was it with a pew-pew? Was it with a cyanide? Okay? But then, you know, after you get past the who had a motive to do this, maybe David, for example, some might be saying, as speculated a little bit on, you know, the Reddit and the forums, his motive was to cover up that he had been, this is allegations, I'm not saying this, I wasn't there, but the allegations are his motive was to cover up that he had been having relations of an inappropriate type with a minor, and he was an adult. So, not only would that be a motive for David, then you can have you can have means to do it. You could have you could have the means to do it. You could have the motive to do it. But then you need the opportunity. David has a good alibi, doesn't he? I was on tour for a month by the time y'all found her body. When was the last, and I'm talking about only from what the public knows, okay? I don't know what the police know. I'm for sure they know more than us.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to look into timelines. They're going to look into alibis. They're going to look into different things where David or maybe they have other suspects or people of interest that we don't know about. They're going to look into the mental state, the mens rea. Did the person who unalived Celeste, have the mental decision made up in their mind that they wanted to do that action to her, which resulted into her no longer being alive. That's one of the things that they will look at, the mens rea. They're going to obviously look at the physical and the forensic evidence. They're going to look at witness statements. But that's not all. Those are kind of like forensic and pre-crime dealings, but they also look, okay, this is very important, at behavioral patterns. Behavioral patterns of the suspects or the person's interest after the death. How was the suspect or the person of interest behaving in the immediate aftermath? Did they retrace their steps? Were they remorseful? Were they sad? Did they act weird? Did they start deleting stuff all off the internet? You know, things like this come up.
Start investing with Acorns, the financial wellness app that automates, personalizes, and handles.
And then, finally, one of the other things that I have in my notes. Now, this is a list. I'm not a detective. Everybody probably runs these investigations a little differently, but this is just kind of like from what I understand, from what I've learned, from what I know. This is kind of like general, applicable stuff, not necessarily like I didn't go and look at LAPD or anything, but the last thing is that they will sometimes look at corroborating patterns. Again, this is a behavioral analysis, and a corroborating pattern would be like, were there any previous criminal charges of violence? Any previous domestic incidents with this particular person? Prior threats against the person made, you know, like if somebody turns up no longer among the living, you know, sometimes they'll look and see, oh, look, she had a stalker. There was someone that she had a restraining order against. Let's go look them up. Well, whenever you look into them, then what you will probably see is, you know, the prior threats or history of violence, similar threats made in other crimes, or past domestic disputes, restraining orders, escalating conflicts, threats, stuff like that. So, putting it simply, these are all of the things that eventually, or already, detectives will absolutely, or have already absolutely looked at, okay? Just running through it one more time. Cause and manner of death. Means, motive, opportunity, alibis, timelines, mental state. Did they on purpose do the action that resulted in the death? Physical and forensic evidence, witnesses and statements, eyewitness testimony, behavior of suspects during interviews, behavior after the death, and corroborating patterns, okay? All right, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about in the beginning of the video, because there's a lot of people online like, why are you looking through his Discord posts? Or why does it matter if he's deleting stuff now? Or what does it matter about this lyric or that lyric? Y'all are just speculating for no reason. No. These actually ended up being the things that most people seem to be concerned about are things that the cops would absolutely be looking into as well. So, just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so this notes, I don't know, the links, whatever, this list of links that I have, I did start making it the day before yesterday. So some of this stuff is not, you know, breaking news, but I didn't cover it yet here. So I do want to just cover it all since my last David video. So some of this, again, some of this stuff's going to be like brand new, just came out now. Some of it's going to be a couple days old, but I want to cover it here just to have it all here. Okay, so this is the mirror.com, and this was written, this came out yesterday. Oh, hold on. I kind of like, listen, Joaquin, I don't have enough certainty out here or information to disagree with you, but I'll read this. He says, I'm a private investigator, and I really think they're not trying half of the things they could be doing in this case. I feel like the police department is in on this. I do too. And by in on it, I mean at the very least, Riverside Police Department, or Riverside County or whatever, they don't do their jobs. They don't do their jobs to protect and serve in general. Maybe there's a few Lone Rangers there that are doing their jobs, but I've seen this already with the Emmanuel Harrow case. They want to, yes. Actoha, previous parking patterns, they would look at that. They would look at the previous parking patterns. Yes, they would. They would say, why is it he always used to park in this spot, and then for one whole month, the car was parked over there, and it wasn't parked in the ordinary spot. They would look at that. Yes, they would. That being said, the Riverside County Police Department, I believe, and this is just a belief, I believe they're complicit in child trafficking. I believe they are complicit in looking the other way when children are being abused. I also believe the same thing about the judges in that county, maybe not every single one, but certainly some of them in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised to find out.
That's a weird accusation. That accusation got weird.
I'm just saying it with my full chest because kids are dying. Okay, kids are dying. Those police officers went to Celeste's house 11 freaking times within 1 year. Partially responded to her going missing, partially sometimes responded to domestic disputes, other things. California probably is. So, here's an article came out yesterday. David comments on TikTok video about Celeste after she was found decomposed in his car. Fans reacted to the comment, one writing, David is silent, but if this is real, he is watching what people are saying online about the case and about him. David has been alleged to have posted a comment on TikTok underneath a video about Celeste after she was found no longer among the living. So in a picture of the singer with a fan from 2023, which was shared to TikTok, David can be seen commenting, okay, before deleting the comment. However, the image shared on TikTok was posted with the hashtag Justice for Celeste. Okay, so Justice for Celeste means like, okay. Screenshots.
I'm also going to add some Ashley Benfield in here too.
David is silent, but if this is real, he's watching what people are saying online about the case and about him. He's not ignoring the conversation. Wait, he actually commented okay and then deleted it? That is so awkward. But some felt that it was purely just an error or even a hoax. Commenting he probably thought he was on the alt account. Nothing about this screams fake. In the sense that, given the case, why would you only Photoshop the word okay and not something more likely to go viral? This is a supposed cloud chaser, right? So anyway, we did talk about that comment already before, but I did want to show y'all, they're starting to report on it in the so-called news. So I have another link to the same effect. That one's Reddit. Yeah, it was that same post. Somebody said, is this real? The post was deleted. There's a discussion about this on a post that was already posted. Okay, so it got deleted off Reddit, but at least we had the little news link. I mean, this case is definitely giving me anxiety because everything just gets taken down. So I have to take screenshots of everything. Now, speaking of David's social media activity, he's been blocking, he's been unfollowing, okay? Look at this. This is a Reddit post from 3 days ago. David has been very active on Instagram. He has been blocking or unfollowing more people this weekend. In fact, he followed someone new today. All right, so this is his... I don't know what this is, his Instagram. Yeah, IG. So they're showing he's got the followers going up, and then September 17, look at all the people that unfollowed him. And then on the day Celeste's identity was revealed, he lost 31,000 followers. The next day, he lost almost 10,000. The next day, he lost 4,000 something. And look, he starts unfollowing people. Celeste's body was discovered in the trunk on September 8th. This chart starts on the 16th, so about 8 days later, about a week later, He's unfollowing people. Whenever Celeste's identity was announced on the 18th, he unfollowed 18 people, or somebody unfollowed. Again, I want to be very clear and very, very fair. Famous people don't always even have the logins to their own Instagram accounts, okay? So, I don't know who is following and unfollowing. I don't know who is unfollowing and following people. Shout out to Oklahoma Outlaw. But it does appear that it is his Instagram account, so I did just want to show y'all that. And then again, I mean, he's gaining followers, and then he starts losing them again. He's unfollowing.
Yeah, I heard that too.
People. So there does appear to be some type of social media activity. Right, so I wanted to show
Angelique, just listen.
Now, the next
Thank
thing
y'all
I
for
wanted
being
to
here.
show y'all is a supposed meet and greet. Now, I'm going to turn the volume off. Hold on. That's not what you want here. It's a meet and greet. I'm turning the audio off because it's one of David's songs that UMG loves to copyright claim and block. My whole video for a few seconds of a song, they want to block a 3-hour strip. Okay, so no, play with your freaking mama, don't play with me. And I know she don't even like you, and that's why you act like you do. If the shoe fits, wear it. Anyway. Okay. So here's David. He's at a meet and greet. This is a very short person. I mean, can he be taller than 5'1"? Look at him. The shorts are doing him no favors either. So I don't know who this person is. This could be a grown adult. This could be anybody. I don't know if it is Celeste. Actually, if you're asking me, I don't think it's Celeste. But people are kind of saying, you know, this is Celeste. Yeah, someone said he's small. I had no idea how little he is. And I actually do think that has a lot to do with how he turned out the way he did. Like, a lot of this just is like trying to be cool for other people, trying to seem like you have more power and more control than you actually do, trying to seem like you're more important than you actually are, when really you're a 5 foot tall 20-year-old who can make a song on his phone. Little man syndrome. Indeed. Oh my God. Jinx, Viking, and Sarah, same time. Same, y'all. Jinx.
Come on, y'all's in the corner still little. When he's the dude is actually 5'5", which believe it or not is just below average height, and y'all calling the dude little.
Thank you to the person who sent me this. Okay, so again, I'm not playing the audio because it plays a song, but just watch David like get like kind of like eh. So again, in and of itself, it could just be a girl at a meet and greet. I mean, seriously, it could just be. I can't really read too much into that, but it was making the rounds. So I wanted to show y'all the meet and greet thing if you want to go look more into that. Okay. So there's a couple unreleased David songs, and before I play these or get into the section about the unreleased David songs, I do want to say, if you are from, if you come and watch not on the live, there is still, even though these are unreleased, there's still a chance, there's still a possibility that they get like somehow copyright struck, copyright whatever.
Yeah.
So you may not actually get to see the songs or whatever, because I'm just going to remove them out of my video. I'm not playing with these freaking people. It does look like Celeste. The hair definitely looks like it. But like,
yeah, I heard that
really
was
black,
swatted.
dark brown hair. So I mean, who knows? It somewhat looks like if you see your ex somewhere, like you saw a ghost, like they look just like them. Could be. And again, I did not see her face, so who knows? It didn't really look like her body frame to me. I don't really think it was her, but who knows? I mean, I truly don't know. So if you don't hear the songs, I might just have to clip out the part of reacting to the songs, but this one right here, this first one is allegedly called I Might Be Polyamorous. And, oh sorry, excuse me. polygamous. I might be polygamous. Okay? Let me play it at 1.5 times the speed. Maybe that'll help it not get claimed. Okay, let me look at the transcript. I fell in love with it. I fell in love within 2 days. 10,000 missed calls in my head from my side chick and my main chick. But this one got me STC. From my H to my... Let me see. Let me see if I can look up. David. It does make it very difficult to even practice my own free speech whenever you can't even react to a freaking song. Like, it is just out of control. It is just out of control. I don't like it, and every chance I get to vocalize my disdain for living in an open-air clown prison where we can't even freaking talk or react to very important public stuff.
Okay, you're doing too much talking. Let's call Ashley Banfield.
And this is Drop Dead Serious. Just when you think you've heard it all about a rising superstar singer named David and his underage girlfriend Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who ended up dead in his trunk, something new drops, and boy oh boy did something new just drop today. If you're just jumping into this case, or if you want...
Oh, wait a minute. We just got something new from Law and Crime, too. I'm also going to make sure we get that as well.
Full backstory, the timeline, we've got it. All of it. We put together a playlist with all of our coverage, and it's linked in the episode description, so check it out. And also, if you're a fan of this podcast, but you didn't know that I also do a live TV show every night at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can find me on News Nation Mondays through Fridays. And two of my show producers, Carlos and Courtney, have been hard at work on the ground in Celeste's neighborhood all day today. It is October 1st as I'm recording this, and I can tell you they've been out looking for answers and for clues to the mystery of who killed Celeste and who stashed her body in the front trunk of David's Tesla. We're now 2 months ago. What's really key here, and I can't stress it enough, is that David isn't charged. He's not named as a suspect. He's not even named as a person of interest, and nor is anybody else. Which, quite frankly, I think for a lot of us is maddening. Since, again, it's October 1st, and Celeste was discovered more than 3 weeks ago. And she's been dead, again, for probably about 2 months. I've got some news about her home and her parents and what the neighbors saw and heard, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about why it is that maybe the cops are delaying this one just a little bit and not charging anybody and not saying a word to any of us. A couple reasons. It is entirely possible that they just don't have the goods, right? It is entirely possible that Celeste's body did not forensically tell us enough about who killed her, what they used, and how she ended up in the trunk. It is possible. I don't think it's probable, because I know that Teslas tell you everything, right? Cameras all over the place, fingerprints or something on the steering wheel, on the door handles, maybe on the, controls, because Teslas are all touch, right? No keys, all touch. Maybe on that frunk when they had to close it, right? How about on Celeste herself? Sweat, fibers, DNA, touch DNA, transfer DNA, hairs. There are all sorts of things that might at least lead them to some profiles of people who used that Tesla. Maybe people used it before and there are fibers and sweat and hair in that trunk, but fine. Question them. Let's find out. Who are you? What do you have to do with David? Why did you ever have his frunk open? Why maybe does Celeste have some of her fibers, of your fibers on her body, your hair on her body? Give us a reason. Maybe they were able to. Maybe there was this conversation. Maybe they have found these people, maybe they haven't, right? So that's one thing. Having enough evidence to actually charge somebody with a murder or a manslaughter. And a manslaughter just basically means it's not a premeditated killing, right? You got a homicide, there are all sorts of types of homicide. There's a legal homicide, a cop killing a guy who's about to kill you or kill someone else. That's a legal killing. It's a homicide, man killing man, but it's not illegal. Murder's illegal. That's premeditated killing. Second degree murder, reactionary killing. That is a crime, but not quite the same as first. It's just entirely possible they don't have the goods. They can't get those goods. Her body was too far decomposed, maybe to tell what happened to her neck. Was there anything else? They're waiting on toxicology reports, but my guess is 3 weeks out, they might have them by now. You know, when you have a big high-profile case, it doesn't always take that long.
Yeah, it shouldn't take this long.
But there's another reason.
At Replit, we believe everyone should be able to create software without limits and without knowing how to code.
Well, you can prioritize. But there's another reason. Maybe they're waiting for their person or persons of interest to just relax, get comfy, you know, assume that the microscope has passed them by. They can let their guard down now, right? They can start talking, either to friends or family, or maybe they can start talking online, right? Maybe they can start emailing or texting or gaming, messaging. Maybe there's surveillance going on that you and I know nothing about, right?
Maybe.
And maybe that's
But I
what
don't
these
believe
police
so.
officers are looking for. Someone to be just a little bit loose-lipped. Remember that old expression? Loose lips sink ships. I believe that's actually from World War II. And I think, if I remember correctly, and one of you should comment below and tell me if I'm wrong, that was actually from the U-boats. You know, don't talk. Listening devices. It's possible. It had something to do with the U-boat fighting with the torpedoing the ships above, like the Lusitania, etc. Wow, did I ever go on a tangent? So, here's the other issue. They might be, and I say they, police, might be looking for additional evidence for additional crimes, right? They may want to do it all at once. And those additional crimes are the ones that I say are the no-brainers. Because Celeste was real young, like illegally young, to be having a romantic relationship with anybody who wasn't a year or two older than her. She went missing at 13, off to the Hollywood Hills, to David's house, and was brought back, only to run off again 2 more times, and one time, more or less, for good. So she was at least 13 and 14 when when David's friends say that they were in a romantic relationship. Not allowed to do that. That's a sex crime, right? You have an underage girlfriend whose parents aren't giving you the okay, and let's be clear here, these parents had reported her missing to the police. That is a far cry from saying, we're good with y'all's relationship. So it is possible that this delay in charging, if there is even going to be any charging, might have to do with that. This should buoy you if you're upset that there hasn't been a charge in over 3 weeks. There is no statute of limitations on murder. None. You can be charged now, tomorrow, next week, next month, or in 2065, if you live that long. There is no clock running on this crime. No clock runs out on murder. Runs out on other crimes like the sex crimes and stuff. Yeah, the clock definitely is ticking, and usually that's around, I think, 2 years. Statute of limitations could be 3, and all depending. Some of the youth sex crimes, actually, they've been given a lot longer window because of memory problems and kids who don't talk, but every state's a little different, every jurisdiction's different, but there are statute of limitations on just about every crime, but murder, they can take their sweet time, and they can get it right. And they can get all the evidence, because remember, when they're investigating crimes, they're investigating them for prosecutors to get a guilty verdict. They're not just rushing to an arrest. They're collecting everything they can so that they can tie it in a neat little bow and hand the gift to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors can then look at it and say, there's enough here, or I think I can get a guilty verdict from a jury, at which point they will go forward with the effort to indict, right? If they don't think that a jury can do anything for them, they're not going forward. They don't have the money or the resources to prosecute every single case they get. Only the ones they think they can win. So there you go, whole bunch of reasons why it could be taking a while here. And I know that might make you feel a little better, because I've been reading the comments, guys, and I can see how many people are so upset that no one's been arrested. Patience. Grasshopper. In the meantime, we've heard it before, and we heard it again just last night, that Celeste ran away from her family again and again for a reason. Reports said that the girl's home life was troubled. Her middle school boyfriend, before she ran off with David, said that her mother treated her badly, and that Celeste often talked to him about wanting to run away. And now TMZ has the receipts of repeated police visits to Celeste's family home in Lake Elsinore, California, about 70 miles away from the Hollywood Hills, where Celeste sought refuge in David's mansion. TMZ has learned that Riverside County Sheriff's deputies responded to calls about Celeste's family or from Celeste's family approximately 11 times in a little over a year, from February 2024 to April 2025. And remember, the family reported Celeste missing for the last time in April of 2024. So those calls continued for a year while she was ostensibly missing. And until this week, we believed that April of 2024 was the last time that they'd seen their daughter. But now we know different, and I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. All of the police visits were listed as, quote, minor crime investigation, except for one of them. And that one outlier was listed in the reports as, quote, suspicious circumstances. Again, no additional details. That was it. But the dates of these calls, that's where the information comes in, because they speak volumes. 3 of them happened in one day on March 19th, 2024. And if that sounds familiar, that date, it should, because that was one of the days that Celeste ran away. She was caught on surveillance camera at a neighborhood liquor store that day. Remember, running down the street at 7 o'clock in the morning? A black car was apparently seen pulling out after her, but it is not clear whether Celeste was in it. The liquor store owner whose video that surveillance belonged to, he said she had just walked out of sight, but that he walked out to see her, and he thought he could see that she was getting into a black car. Couldn't give a description of the car, though. 2 of the 3 police visits on that exact day were to Celeste's home. And wouldn't you know it, where are you going to guess the 3rd visit was? It was to that liquor store. And you remember who else visited that liquor store that day? Celeste's sister. She showed up at that liquor store and she asked the owner if she could review his surveillance video. And he said she could. And she said that was her sister on that video. One of the other police visits in that year that TMZ documented was on April 5th. 2024 at 9:29 p.m. And that time is significant because it's about a half hour after the family reported her missing for the very last time. And we know that because you can see it on the flyer. They say that's when they last saw her. They even say what she was wearing. Officially, Celeste was still missing when her body was discovered badly decomposed in the front trunk of David's Tesla. That was 23 days ago. Today is October 1st as I record this. But was she still really missing without a trace all that time? The other day, TMZ acquired some video of Celeste in her parents' backyard, and it was dated September 8th, 2024. That date is so significant for a couple of reasons. First off, it's 5 months after she supposedly disappeared for the last time. And what's more sad is that it is one day after her 14th birthday, which makes me think maybe Celeste came home for her birthday. Her birthday's on September 7th. This video's on September 8th. Maybe she was home to celebrate her birthday during this time that she's supposedly missing. And 1 year to the date later. This is September 8th, 2024, this video in the backyard. September 8th, 2025 is when her remains were discovered in David's trunk. Talk about coincidence, right? video was shot and released by neighbors of Celeste's family, and one of those neighbors spoke with the producers of my Banfield show on News Nation. Big shout out to News Nation. I'm on again, 10 o'clock, weekdays, Monday to Friday. Check out the show. But before I play you this conversation, which my producers had with Celeste's neighbor, I just wanted to tell you that Atlas and I both really appreciate you supporting this podcast, and I am very thankful that we have this little community to talk through these mysteries and crimes. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your suggestions. I even like the criticism. We couldn't do this without you, even though Atlas kind of sleeps through most of it. His heart's in it. You know how it is. I also couldn't do this without sponsors, like Chapter. That's one of my sponsors. If you are a senior, or if you got a senior in the family, listen up. This is really important. It could help. It could save some money here. Sometimes things that are perfectly legal seem incredibly unfair and feel like they should be a crime, and there are few better examples of that than Medicare. Medicare is extremely confusing, with thousands of different plan options, so seniors rely on brokers. The brokers help them find the best plan for their individual needs. The problem is, most Medicare brokers push the plans that pay them the highest commissions, and not necessarily what's best for the seniors that they are claiming they're serving. And the crazy part is, it is all totally legal. The brokers aren't required to put the interests of their clients first, or to present every available option to those seniors. And that's why it's important to find a broker who actually works for you and not the insurance companies. And that's why I'm suggesting that you reach out to my partner, Chapter. Chapter's help is totally free. They can review your options in under 20 minutes, and the average senior saves over $1,000 a year. So, yay! If you're already on the best possible plan, Chapter's going to tell you that. If you are not on the best plan, they're going to help you switch. If the best plan for your needs is one that doesn't pay them, they're still going to recommend that. There's no pressure, just honest advice.
Harbor Freight tools keep getting better with time.
Come on.
Better durability, better.
Well, she went missing the first time in February 2024. And then I saw her, well, I didn't see her again. I heard her again when she came through the apartments. But yeah, I didn't know she was the missing child from next door. I have lived here since February of 2023, so almost 3 years. I've never met the family. I don't know their names. I don't know how many people live there. I just know there was a lot of cars parked out usually, at least 5 cars on the driveway, most of the time, most of the days. But I don't know who the family is. My backyard peers into their backyard, and I can also see their driveway, the front yard. I've never heard or seen police officers at their house. At any time, I think I would have noticed that, unless it was late at night where I was asleep, but I never noticed any police activity at Celeste's home. So the video circulating with Celeste coming into the apartments being a little upset, that video was only released to pinpoint her timeline of her missing. And that's the only reason why it was released, because on September 8, 2024, she was technically still missing. There were actually a few Banfield producers who spent most of the day in Celeste's neighborhood, the same neighborhood that Celeste could not wait to leave. I want you to have a look as they lay out the key locations that actually are important in this story. Here they are, pointing out those locations in her neighborhood.
Celeste was a frequent customer at this liquor store. The cashier tells us she appeared often after school with friends and alone. She also appeared one time on security camera footage after she had been reported missing, and we thought that was the last time we had seen Celeste. But just up the street is the house where she appeared later on security camera footage. This is the property where Celeste was seen arguing on surveillance footage with her neighbors after being reported missing. But despite that argument, just next door is Celeste's memorial. It's grown in recent days. You can see the candles there, and the poster board there, and this new banner bearing her face. And just next door to this memorial is Celeste's home, which we now hear that police came to 11 different times for disturbances.
One of the owners of the liquor store told my producers that they had seen the police headed in the direction of Celeste's home on multiple occasions. But they couldn't confirm if the police actually stopped there. They just saw them going by in the direction of Celeste's house. Celeste lives just down the street, as you heard. Celeste's parents have not been seen at that home since her body was identified. And they've only spoken publicly once. If you have followed this storyline, if you have read online and read the headlines, you have probably seen a lot of the speculation that Celeste's mother or her father, or both of them, are undocumented immigrants. And that's the reason they've gone under the radar, that they've gone underground, maybe even fled the country. But I can now report to you that both of her parents are in the United States legally. My producers at News Nation were able to get that information exclusively today. The records that were acquired by a private investigator named Steve Fisher show that both of those parents received Social Security numbers back around 2001. The Banfield producers on the ground also spoke with another woman who didn't want to be on camera, but she said that she's a former neighbor of the family. She said they all lived in public housing together from 2019 to 2020. She said that she occasionally heard Celeste's parents arguing, and often they were arguing about custody of the children, though there doesn't seem to be any indication that they're divorced. The woman said that Celeste was a very sweet little girl, and that stuck out to me because guess who else said that? The liquor store owner said she used to come into the store all the time and buy chips and candy and gum like a little girl does. Even a 13-year-old little girl does. And that liquor store owner described her as very sweet and, quote, not a wild child. That's what he said about Celeste. The neighbor also said that Celeste's mom would keep her close at all times. I guess that was until that final missing report in April of 2024. And that's where we're going to have to leave it for this episode. Nothing about this case adds up, except for one thing. Every time we dig deeper, the story gets darker and the mystery gets more confounding. If you're into this podcast, and if you want to make sure you never miss a case, hit that subscribe button, and that way you'll get notified the second I drop a new episode, or just a little extra, because every so often I do drop an extra, and I don't want you to miss that either. And trust me, there are a lot more true crime stories coming your way, like this one. This just hit my radar, and I'm sort of astounded. It is the story of Sonem Kishatria. Like I said, I just found out about this one, and I can't believe there aren't more headlines about it. Get this. In 2019, 27-year-old Sonem was found hanging in the closet of her Manhattan apartment. Her death was ruled a suicide almost instantly. And by the way, a lot of the reason was because her boyfriend, should I say ex-boyfriend, was the only person who gave information to the medical examiner, right? So a lot of the information the ME was going on was what came from this ex-boyfriend. So the ME rules her, her death as a suicide, and then her body is returned to her family for burial. But guess what? The funeral home director that Sonem's family enlisted saw something that did not make sense. Like a whole bunch of bruises all over Sonem's body that were, quote, significant and troubling. That's from the report. So that funeral director, instead of going along with the family's timeline and saying, let's bury Sonem, said, hold it. We gotta send this body back to the coroner. This body needs to be autopsied. And her parents said, okay, I mean, we had no idea. So the medical examiner gets the body back. And wouldn't you know it, the medical examiner decided to stick by his guns. Suicide, he said, despite a boatload of red flags. And there's more. And I don't want to give away too much, but there was blood all over the scene of her closet and apartment. Shit. And again, this is the scene of a hanging. Yeah, okay, that's weird, but guess what's more weird? There's blood all over the place, and there's blood all over the noose. But there's no blood on Sonem's hands. What the actual fuck, right? If she tied the noose around her own neck, which would be required in a suicide, how come no blood on her hands? But there's blood all over the noose. There's also surveillance video with a timeline showing clothing that she was wearing that is just mighty fucking sus, right? None of this adds up, and the more I talk about the case, the angrier I get, because I cannot believe that a medical examiner wouldn't see these things. I'm a layperson and I see it, just like in Ellen Greenberg. It's crazy. And guess what else? Her family says this is no suicide. They say it is a murder and a cover-up, and they got an investigator that found a whole lot more.
See y'all later.
Anyway, make
Peace.
sure you look up
Like,
this
share,
episode, when
subscribe.
it's released. It's coming very, very soon, and I